What does quality healthcare mean to you?
Well, quality healthcare begins with holding space for people. Uh, Quality healthcare begins with listening more than speaking. Quality healthcare begins with removing the God complex and really just being human to human, like what's going on here. That's the beginning of it, is that you have to get out of your own way, and you cannot. If I hung my hat on one way of doing things for everybody, I'd be proven wrong all throughout the day. There's some low hanging fruits, right? But to say and put everybody in a box and say, this is your box and this is what you do. And if you don't do this, like that's your fault. Like that fault, many people fall through the cracks of that cookie cutter, one size fits all approach. And good healthcare begins with listening, holding space for somebody, being thorough, being inquisitive, being curious, and really giving them the thoughtfulness that they need. And the problem is, even traditionally trained physicians, which most of my colleagues within functional medicine are traditionally trained medical doctors, they are stuck in a box. The physicians are stuck in a box because they're given X amount of time to spend with the patient, and they're not even given the time. It's the environment in which the system set up isn't even set up for this type of care, which is a shame, which many of physicians have to go outside of the standard model of care and be in private practice to actually do the due diligence that's required for health problems that we're facing as a society. If you look at the researchers recent studies show that upwards of 50% of the United States is struggling with metabolic issues. They're somewhere on that insulin resistance spectrum.
Mm.
They have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes or metabolic syndrome, some form of insulin resistance in their body. And autoimmune conditions, 50 million Americans have autoimmune conditions. And then you look at the brain health problems like anxiety and depression. It's and we need to stop treating mental health separate from physical health. Mental health is physical health. Our brain is part of our body just as much as our stomach or our pancreas is or whatever else. So good healthcare begins with taking a fresh look at at the person that you're consulting with and saying, how can I be of service to you, and what's going on here? And be a clinical Sherlock Holmes to figure out what's going on here and not be stuck in a box. Don't put yourself in a box as a clinician. Don't put the patient in a box, because the box fails a lot of people.
Sure. Can you give me an example of quality healthcare?
Well, I mean, my real authentic answer, which is going to seem self-promoting, is functional medicine. I really do feel like functional medicine is that's why our tagline for the past 12 years has been the future of healthcare, the future of natural healthcare, because it's really applying the exciting science in the scientific literature. You look at the studies that are coming out of JAMA and the clinical nutrition journals and all the exciting nature. I mean, I could go on and on about the really cool science applying lifestyle medicine basically into people's lives. It's very cool. The problem is what's coming out of the scientific literature, that it's going to take long time, decade plus, to really trickle down, just even slightly diffuse into the conventional setting. Because the problem is there's amazing science, but then there's this gap between science and training. The conventional training for physicians today is just largely to diagnose a disease and match it with the medication. They're given, and I recite this study in the journals in my book, in the second book, in the inflammation spectrum, that most conventional doctors that are just trained as medical doctors, they would fail a basic nutrition test because they're not trained these things, and they're referring out to RDs and things like that, which is a whole other topic. But basically, there's a lot of people that could be benefited through lifestyle medicine, but yet the conversation's not being had. It's being had more than ever before, because more and more traditionally trained doctors are being trained in functional medicine. So they're at least giving some insight to the patient on things that they can do with their life to start improving their health. So we're moving in the right direction, I think, in many ways. But we still have a large way to go. So I guess to answer your question, what does it look like? I really feel like functional medicine and all its different models, there's different ways to go about it. There's group models. The Cleveland Clinic had for many years. I don't know what they're doing right now, but they were doing group models. I have colleagues of mine that do subscription models. I've been doing telehealth for 12 years. So there's definitely really innovative ways that we can get people care. But no matter how you do it, the model of care, to me, the best form of healthcare is functional medicine. And I would say another word for functional medicine is integrative medicine. So it's not us versus them, either or, where it's like this toxic tribalism. It's let's be both and say what's the best of Western medicine, what's the best of the leading labs, the leading therapies, and the leading modalities. Let's be the best of both worlds for our people, but still ask the question, what is your most effective option that causes you the least amount of side effects? And let's get them actually healthy. I think that's what the best form of healthcare looks like. It's a novel thought, but let's bring health back into healthcare and not let just be disease management care.